Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Woodpeckers Deep Dive. My name is Jeff Farris. Welcome to the Woodpeckers Model Shop. Today, we are going to take a closer look at Woodpecker's new StealthStop Miter Gauge. I want to answer some questions for you that we've seen on our social media channels and also some stuff that we've heard on our customer service line. Okay, let's get started. Now, the first question that I want to address, we've had several people say, hey, Jeff, I don't like to do all my cutoff work on the left side of the saw. Sometimes I work on the right side of the saw. Does the StealthStop Miter Gauge work on both sides? And I want to assure you it certainly does. I'm going to show you right now how we move it from the left side to the right side. So the StealthStop Fence is an extruded track. And so basically the connection of the fence to the miter head is with these two knobs right here, and it can slide anywhere along there. So to move the fence so that we can go to the right side of the saw blade, all we have to do is take out the extension, slide the fence all the way the other direction, and we'll lock that up. Now the stop is facing the wrong way. So we're going to take the stop out and flip it around and put it back in the opposite direction. So now it's facing the saw blade when it's on the other side. And then the extension needs to be turned around too. So I'm going to unlock those two set screws right there, flip that over, change the direction, lock it back up. Now we'll come over to the other side, slide that in, and just like that, we're ready to work on the other side of the saw. Now, we also had several folks ask us about the T-slot in the miter gauge. They had older saws or maybe less expensive saws that didn't have the T-slot. Well, that's no problem at all. The T-slot is just two little bolts here. Just going to drop those out. And now it'll work on any miter gauge that doesn't have a T-slot. Now, the width of this is 3/4 of an inch, and it's 3/8 of an inch thick. That's the only requirement that you have, and it's also very adjustable. You'll see these little nylon leaf springs in the edge. So whether your slot is oversized or undersized or right on the money, it doesn't matter. It's always going to compensate for that, and you'll get a perfect fit in your 3/8 by 3/4 miter track. Now, another thing that several people asked us about, a few months ago, we released the StealthStop Miter Gauge fence, which is basically the same fence, but it's made or packaged in that case to go onto the miter gauge you already have. We have several people that bought that longer StealthStop Miter Gauge fence, and now that they see the StealthStop Miter Gauge, they'd like to put them together. Well, that's not a problem either. The StealthStop Miter Gauge fence is exactly the same extrusion. This one is just made 29 inches long to begin with, where the one that comes with the miter gauge is extendable to 29 inches. So it's no big deal if you have the StealthStop Miter Gauge fence and you want to add it to your miter gauge. That is no problem at all. We're just going to slide this up here, line that up in the track, line this one up in the track. We can make it as close or as far away from the saw blade as we want, lock it up, and now we have our full 29-inch fence. Now, if you already have the StealthStop Miter Gauge fence and you want the StealthStop Miter Gauge, we do sell this without a fence at all, and you can marry that to the one that you already have. Now, whether you're working with the full-length 29-inch fence or the extendable fence, the best feature of this fence is the stops that we have in here. Let's take a closer look at those. One of the beautiful features of the StealthStop is that it is completely within the fence when you're not using it. Nothing on top for you to snag yourself on, nothing on the face to get in the way of your work. But when you need it, the stop just flips out that easily. To adjust that, we're going to take an 1/8 inch Allen wrench, loosen it up, put it wherever we want it, come back in and lock it. Then, to make your final adjustment, the thumb wheel has a very, very fine screw on it to let you micro adjust in or out to hit your dimension exactly. Now, another thing I really like about the StealthStops, anytime you have a stop that comes over from the top like this, when you have a mitered end, it has a tendency to crawl underneath the stop and pick it up. The StealthStop, by flipping out sideways, completely eliminates that. It's always catching that mitered end. Now, the number one question we were asked is, how do I dial this in to cut perfectly square on my saw? So I want to show you the calibration process. Now, it's calibrated at the factory, but everybody's saw is just a little bit different. So make a couple of test cuts before you do this process. If you get perfectly square cuts, just keep going. If you don't get perfectly square cuts, here's how you dial this in. The first thing that we're going to do is loosen these two set screws right here and here. Then we're going to take the handle and loosen it up. That lets this float. We're going to take a good square, put it between the front fence and the saw blade, and we're going to adjust that until we get a perfect fit between the square and the blade. Then we're going to lock it up. And now we want to depress our indexing pin, get that to drop in, and while that's in there, you can see that there's a little bit of movement in our block. We want to set that so that it is just splitting our 0 line. And then we're going to clamp that, and now we've dialed in both our visual indicator and our detent pin. Now, let's make a test cut and check it out. Spot on, just where we want it. Now, let's check it out and see if our 45 is just as accurate. And the miter is just as perfect as the square. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed this closer look at Woodpecker's StealthStop Miter Gauge. If you enjoyed the show today, be sure to give us a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know about every one of our great videos right when they come out. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Woodpecker's Deep Dive.